Madam, please continue.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, participants.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
How are you all?
Fine, ma'am. Fine, ma'am.
Okay. And I want to know how many are from Jagityal GDC. Can I get the number? Yes. Nobody? జగిత్యాల జీడీసీ నుండి ఎంతమంది అమ్మా పిల్లలు స్టూడెంట్స్ ఎంతమంది ఉన్నారు?
మేడం శ్రవంతి మేడం.
ఓన్లీ వన్?
ఎస్ మేడం.
What about your friends? No one is there.
I don't know, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So why I was asking is I should know about my audience, right? Who is there for my lecture, so that I can carry on accordingly. That is why I have asked. And one more thing, this session will be interactive session, ma. Okay, it is not a single way process. It should be a dialogue, okay, not a monologue, right? And here in this class, you'll be learning about some techniques related to mushroom cultivation. And I would like to extend my thanks to Tirupati sir for considering me as a resource person for this certificate course. And I also appreciate his efforts for conducting this whole 1 month long certificate course. Okay. And students, I also want to insist the importance of such a program in this pandemic time, because we know many people have lost their jobs, they have lost their livelihood. And I strongly believe that there must be a, what do you say, like sir must have thought to inculcate this technique, or what do you say, to promote this mushroom cultivation to be as a source of livelihood for many youth people who are suffering like without income. Okay, so if you take it seriously, if you learn this technique seriously, it will definitely be a source of livelihood for many people. And I want you, I all request you to be mediators. You can involve yourself in this process, or you can help others who are in requirement of some livelihood, or they are searching for some work. Okay. And as you are seeing the topic, it is cultivation of Agaricus BISPORUS. And this Agaricus BISPORUS, it is a mushroom, and this is the common name of this mushroom is butter mushroom. Okay, you all know this now. You are attending these classes since almost 3 weeks, and this is the, I believe this is the last week, right? And here I want to show you the overview of the process. Okay. I'll be asking you frequently whether you are able to understand me or not, and I also question. Okay, so be ready for everything, right? So this is the overview of mushroom cultivation process, right? If you are attending the classes, so you tell me, what is the first step in mushroom production? If you want to go for mushroom production, what is the first step? Yes, ma, anybody? I'll be happy if you all answer. Whether it is wrong also, no problem, because you are learning and we are also learners. Okay. Attempting to answer is more important. Okay, ma, what is the first step in mushroom production? Yes, girls? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please speak. I'd like to hear. I'd like to know. ఏం చేయాలి ఫస్ట్?
First, we should learn.
Yes, Pujita.
Yes, ma'am. First,
Hello,
we
ma'am.
should learn about that and we should take step towards that.
Yeah, that's correct. But I'm showing some flowchart, right? And what you're able to understand from this flowchart? What might be the first step?
Feedstocks, ma'am.
Mostly
Pardon?
red faces.
Feedstocks, ma'am.
Yeah, feedstock.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically what we have to prepare is we have to prepare food for the mushroom. Okay. Yes or no? If you want to grow
Yes, ma'am.
something, first you have to prepare some food, no? That is
Yes,
what
ma'am.
here is called as compost preparation. Emantaramma? All of you?
Compost
preparation. Okay. So compost preparation, for the preparation of compost, we can take many substrates. There is a wide variety of substrates which we can use for compost preparation. Okay, it can be a chicken manure or agricultural waste, plant waste, animal waste, anything we can use, right? So in this compost preparation step, what we have to do is basically, and one more question, what do you mean by composting? Yes.
Ma'am, can you explain it again, ma'am?
Yes, ma. I was asking, we are attempting to prepare a food for the mushroom. That is what is called as composting. Okay. So what do you mean by compost? Compost means composting means it is a breakdown process. It is a breakdown process. What is being breakdown here? The material which we are taking now, whether it is rice straw or wheat straw or chicken manure, whatever material we are taking, that has to be broken down. Okay, that's what that breaking of this compost or the material, raw material, is called as composting process. Am I clear? ఇక్కడ అర్థమైందా కంపోస్టింగ్ అంటే ఏంటో అర్థమైందమ్మా?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It is just a breakdown process. Okay, then why we have to go for this composting process? Manam direct ga ivochu kada. Whatever straw we are taking, if we are giving directly to the mushroom, can it eat? It may be difficult for that mushroom. Okay, అందుకే ఏం చేయాలి? We have to go for composting process. So now you have understood what is composting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and also you have understood what is the requirement of composting. Enduku composting jaragalama? So that the material or the nutrients should be readily available for the microorganism or mushrooms to grow. I hope here I'm clear. Okay, going to the next step. Right. So this composting process, it is having two phases. One is phase 1 and the other one is phase 2. Right. So in these two phases, what is happening when you are taking any raw material? What you are doing? First, you have to add some water. That is wetting phase. Okay. When you are going for this wetting phase, what happens is, generally microorganisms require water to grow. And again, one more question. What is mushroom? What it is made of, basically? Yes, I need fast answers.
It is a fungus.
Yes, definitely. It is a fungus. Okay. So it is a microorganism. It requires water? Yes, it definitely requires water. When you are adding water, what happens? It promotes microbial growth. Yes or no? Microorganisms require water to grow, right? So when we are adding this water here to the raw material, what is happening is this wetting phase is promoting the growth of microorganisms, right? Then what happens? There will be a temperature of 30 to 50 degrees in this compost. Compost ante enti? Just you have piled up, you have taken large amount of raw material, right? And then there is a growth of mesophiles. What do you mean by mesophiles? Mesophiles are the bacteria or the organisms which are growing at a room temperature or normal temperature, right? Then what happens? Okay, mesophiles have come into the compost. Okay, from where they are coming? From where they are coming? They are already present. We are not taking any sterilized substrate, right? We are taking raw material here. So generally there will be microorganisms. So when we have added some water, they will feel free to grow and they start growing. Okay. So first the temperature will be 30 to 50 degrees. So mesophiles will grow, right? Growing means what they will do? They'll eat the compost, right? Etla grow avali microorganism ikkada. And here, be clear, we are not talking about fungus. Inka mana mushroom ki velale. Okay, we are just talking about bacteria or fungus also, whatever, any microorganism. Okay, right. So when it is growing, what it is doing, ma? Etla grow avutundi? It is eating. What it is eating?
Raw material. Raw material.
Yes, raw material. Yes, whatever material we have taken, that microbe is eating and it is growing in number. Okay, sorry, grow aindi next. After many generations, what is happening? Yes, temperature will increase. ఏమవుతుంది? లోపల temperature అనేది పెరుగుతుంది. What is the reason for increase of temperature? Because a metabolic activity is going on, right? So oxygen is being consumed, carbon dioxide is being released, and some other parameters are also there by which the temperature inside the compost will increase. Okay, first time ఉంటుంది normal temperature ఉంటుంది, gradual ga it will increase, right? Then what happens when the temperature increases? Yes, the flora will change. Mesophiles will change into thermophiles, means that my mesophiles now they will die, and what will survive here? Thermophiles. Thermophiles means the one which are loving to grow at higher temperatures. So different organisms grow at this higher temperature. Okay, then so here there is a rapid succession of bacteria and fungal species, and then gradually when temperature is increasing, only thermophiles will survive. Okay, and then we are moving towards to phase 2. Phase 1, just it is the degradation process or decomposition process. Now what is happening in phase 2? We have to sterilize it. We have to sterilize it. Yes, what you are sterilizing? Sorry, it is not sterilization, it is a pasteurization. What you are pasteurizing? The compost material what you have taken, you are pasteurizing here. Okay, and then after pasteurization, pasteurization means basically you are subjecting the material to a particular temperature, maybe 60 to 65 degrees centigrade, by which what happens? Most of the microorganisms will be killed in this pasteurization step. Then after this step, we have to move further. Okay, so by the end of phase 2, what happens? Our compost will be ready. Till now what we have done? Till now what we have done, ma? Tell me.
Compost is prepared, ma'am.
Prepared? Yes, we have prepared food for the mushroom. We have prepared compost for the mushroom. Now what we have to do? We have to add mushroom into it. Yes or no? When you want to grow that mushroom, you have to add that mushroom into this media, right? Into the compost. So here we are adding this seed. What seed? Mushroom seed. What is mushroom? Will Okay, this is the flow chart showing the mushroom production. It is not only applicable for Agaricus bisporus, but for any mushroom, you have to go through all these processes because these are general steps which are involved in the mushroom production. Am I clear in this slide? With all your permission, can we move to next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in this picture, whatever you are seeing now, this is Agaricus bisporus or button mushroom. Usually it will be white in color, and see, it is how nicely it is looking. Okay, and one more interesting fact, you know, how people have started eating mushroom. Actually, it has got a much lengthy history, but during World War II, there was a famine. Okay, means there was a scarcity of food, and
slide is not
it
moving.
was
Only
questioned.
overview. We are visible only overview.
Hello, hello, sir, is there any problem?
First slide is visible. Am I right? Only one slide is visible. Remaining only overview. We are visible only overview.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's moving.
Okay. So coming to the composting step here, we have taken, as we have seen in the first slide itself, this is the raw material which we have taken. We have added some water, and microorganisms are already present in this what do you say, compost, and they have these microorganisms, they are feeding on this raw materials, and here it is the compost site. Okay, means here composting is happening, right? Then after this composting is done, what is released? What is released, ma? Organic matter is released, minerals are released, water is released, microorganisms are also there. Means here in this process of digestion, these raw materials or the initial products are converted into final products, which are, when compared to the initial products, they are more simple in structure or more easily digestible in nature. Okay, this is the composting. And you also have to note down that this composting requires oxygen. Okay, composting అనేది aerobic process. Okay, so it requires oxygen, and in this process, what is released when you are this composting is being done, definitely the substrate or the compost will become dry by evaporation of water. Water will be lost due to evaporation, and heat will also be generated. We have seen in the last slide, and carbon dioxide is also generated due to metabolic activities of microorganisms. So ultimately, the raw materials are converted into finished compost. Okay, so this is about composting process. And here, see, for composting, what all we require? We require some slab for this, which is called as wharf, and aeration and irrigation. This turners are required for mixing, and trolleys are required, and mechanical mixing by different, what do you say, equipments is required here, right? Okay, next. So composting process, whatever we have seen in the first slide, it is just what do you say, explanation step by step. First, you are taking the material and you are mixing it, and then opening the stack. Stacking means you are just making a structure out of this compost. And after 2 days, you have to add some material, add some ingredients. What ingredients you are adding here? It can be a nitrogen source, it can be a carbon source, it can be ammonia, it can be anything which is further required for the growth of microorganisms. And then you have to go with many turnings. Turnings means it's just a mixing. Okay, first turning at this stage, then second turning, third, fourth. After that, at this day, by the 10th day, okay, this phase 1 will be completed. Okay, ultimately, what is happening in phase 1? It is the degradation process which is occurring. And next is phase 2 process. Phase 2 process means here, as I said in the first slide, what is happening in phase 2, ma? It is only pasteurization. What is happening? pasteurization. Okay, so in this process, when you are going for pasteurization, right? PPC means pre-pasteurization condition. What do you mean by PPC? It is a pre-pasteurization condition, and POPC means post-pasteurization condition. These are the days. Okay, so gradually as the time passes, you have to go on with this, what do you say, steps. Okay, so where this pasteurization is being done at this step. Okay, here, this is pre-pasteurization stage. This is post-pasteurization stage. Means here pasteurization is being done by heating the compost at 59 degrees centigrade for 4 to 6 hours. Okay, and then the temperature has to gradually reduce. Here it is 59, then it has to come to 48 and gradually to 25 degrees centigrade. So by this end of second phase, the temperature has come to normal room temperature. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so see the slide, difference between two phases. This is phase 1 and this is phase 2. Okay, phase 1, what has happened? There is a degradation of the raw materials. There is growth of microorganisms. Many microorganisms have grown. Temperature has increased, pH has increased, and there are more nutrients at this stage. Okay, see this thermophilic microorganisms, blue color bar. Okay, means more temperature is there, higher temperature is there. So thermophiles were there. And here, see this, the number is decreased. Okay, there can be actinomycetes, there can be fungi, there can be bacteria, all the number is decreased by the end of spawning stage. Right, coming to the temperature. Temperature is around 70 degrees here. By the end of phase 2, it has come to 25 degrees. pH, it was 9 degrees, 9 to 9.5, which has come to neutral pH by the end of phase 2. And carbon nitrogen ratio, CN ratio, it is important for nutrition purpose. Okay, for any organism to grow in any substrate. Okay, CN ratio is more important. CN means carbon to nitrogen ratio. It was 35:1 in the phase 1, which is reduced to 20:1 by the end of phase 2. And then nitrogen is also, nitrogen has somewhat increased, and then carbohydrates content has decreased. So this is the difference between two phases of composting process. And here, as the syllabus given to you people, so this composting is of 3 different types: long method, short method, indoor method. This is just the summary of this composting, how many days it is requiring for different processes, and what is the yield of compost. Here in long method, we are getting only 10 to 15 kg per 100 kg compost. Here 20 to 25 kg you are getting. Pollution, it is negligible in indoor method, where it is moderate in outdoor long method. And average compost production, it is around 3 to 3.5 tons in indoor method, and 1.75 to 2 tons in long method, and 2 to 2.5 tons in short method. And nitrogen content, it is around 1.75 to 2 in long method, 2 to 2.2 in short method, indoor method 2.2 to 2.5. And infrastructure, what all we require, it is outdoor method. Long method is outdoor, so we have to do it in our composting yard. And in short method, we have to cover the compost. Okay, and in indoor method, we need some pre-wetting area, means whatever floor, walls, you have to make them wet to maintain the humidity. Okay, and so how many days we need, and how much power we require, and handling equipments are required in these two methods. Here there is no requirement of any equipment. Next, characteristics of compost after phase 2. So by the end of phase 2, compost is ready. But by the end of phase 2, what will be the characteristics? How to identify whether the compost is ready or not? Usually, it will be dark brown in color, and it will be full of thermophilic fungus, means, and actinomycetes will be grown in that. It is soft straw. It will become soft, and moisture content will be 65% around, and the liquid and pleasant sweet smell must be there. And there should not be any smell of ammonia, because by the end of, means in the starting, ammonia will be there. We'll be adding ammonia, okay, but gradually the concentration should be reduced, because ammonia concentration, if it is more, then it may not support the growth of mushrooms, right? Nitrogen content must be less than, sorry, more than 2%. Here you can see, these are the pictures by how they are wetting the straw. They have taken this raw material and they are putting water into this straw so that it can become wet, and low stack of wetted straw. After adding water, after wetting the substrate, you have to stack it. Stack it means you have to make it at a single place, okay? And here you are mixing the ingredients, okay, whatever is required. I told you, no, nitrogen sources can be added, carbon sources can be added, right? So all these things here, gypsum will also be added, right? Here in compost preparation, you might have noted gypsum we are adding, okay? What is the role of gypsum in compost preparation? It will make the straw or the compost non-sticky. In gypsum, it is making that substrate non-sticky. Why it is required? Because if the compost or the material becomes sticky, they will stick together and there won't be any air space. Okay, when the substrate becomes sticky, there won't be any air space. So that maintenance of air spaces is done by addition of gypsum. Okay, then this is making a pile, means we are making that compost into a particular shape. Here we got the piles, compost piles are ready, and then after this we have to go for pasteurization using some equipment, and then this will be the finally prepared compost after phase 2, which is ready for spawning. After compost preparation, we have to go for spawning. Here, this is the equipment which is showing the filling of this compost into the bags. Okay, but before the preparation, before this filling step, there will be addition of spawn. Okay, addition of spawning must be there, because after compost preparation, we have to add the spawn and then we have to fill it in the bags. Am I clear, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next is spawning. Spawning means, as I told you, we are not directly taking the spores. Okay, you know about fungal spores, right? Fungal spores generally, as we are taking, if you want to grow a plant, what you have to do? You have to take the seed and you have to plant it in the soil. Okay. Similarly, here we are getting fungal spores from the mushroom. Yes, you all remember the structure, no? It's umbrella-like structure, and when it opens, the gills are there. Inside the gills, there will be spores, and they will be coming out of the mushroom when mushroom matures. But we are not taking that spores directly, because we cannot be sure that these spores are, what do you say, they can give pure culture, or there can be some problem growing this spores or fertilizing or germination of spores into mycelium at our place is convenient for the mushroom production. That is the reason why we are depending on other spawn culture supplying centers. We have to depend on other centers which are providing this spawn. Okay, and this is usually, spawn is called as seed requirement for the mushroom, and it is the vegetative mycelium from a selected mushroom cultured on a convenient medium like wheat, pearl, millet, sorghum, grains, etc. Means, what is spawn? It is the mycelium. Mycelium means it is the germinated structure of the spore from selected mushroom. What mushroom we want to grow? If we want to grow Agaricus bisporus, we have to take Agaricus bisporus spawn. We have to take Agaricus bisporus seed. Yes or no? If you want to grow Wolveriella mushroom, then you have to go for Wolveriella spawn. So it is the selected mushroom what we are taking here, and it has been grown on substrate like wheat, pearl, millet, sorghum, grains. Here you see these bottles. Okay, what is there here? What is this white cottony growth? It is nothing but the growth of the mycelium. Okay, this is not the grain. Grains are covered by white cottony mushroom growth or mycelial growth. That is the spawn. Okay, now just now we have seen much about composting. Like we have prepared the food and we got the organism also. We got the seed also, right? Then what we have to do? The temperature of the compost should come down, and then we have to mix with the spawn at the rate of 0.5 to 1%. 0.5 to 1% means if we are taking 100 kg compost, we have to add 1 kg spawn. Clear? Next. So bags, spawning. These bags are kept at a temperature of 23 to 24. Spawning means what? You have added the culture, you have added that seeds onto the mushroom bags or compost you have added. You have taken the food, that is compost, and you have added the spawn. Under this situation, temperature inside the bags is around 25 degrees. How much temperature must be there? 25 degrees. When spawn starts spreading inside the compost, there is rise in temperature inside the compost. Means you have added the mushroom or spawn. Okay, this spawn, what it will do? It will eat the food material, that is compost, and it will spread, it will grow. Okay, and then when it starts growing, the temperature inside the compost will increase. During spawn run, the rooms are kept closed. Carbon dioxide content should go up to 10,000 ppm and can be suffocating. Means when you want to grow this spawn, the carbon dioxide content inside the room must be very high. Adi peragali. Okay, etla peragali? By closing the rooms and by the activity of this mycelium, this carbon dioxide will increase in the compost. It has to increase at least by 10,000 ppm. ppm means parts per million. In 12 to 15 days, spawn spreads into whole of the compost. Means after addition of spawn, you have to wait for 15 days. Then spawn will completely spread into the compost. At this stage, the bags are cased. Okay, means after adding the spawn, you have to allow that spawn to grow for few days, that is 15 days, and then you have to go for next step, that is casing. Okay, till now what you have done? You have prepared the food material, that is compost. You have added the organism, that is spawning, and then third step is casing. Am I clear to all of you? Yes. See, the spawning is of two types: top span, narrow span, layer span. Okay, top means just on the top. Narrow means completely you are mixing with the substrate. Layer means you are adding in different layers. So this can be the pattern of growth in different types of spawn.